Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and today I'm doing a discussion over Snowcrest, which was a game that I had backed pretty much out of whim. I remember kind of seeing it, and I'm like, oh, that looks cute, and it's relatively affordable, so I'll go ahead and back it. And it just came in, and I gotta say, this is a adorable, cute little game that has quite a little bit of meat to it, more so than I was actually anticipating, because for a game box of this size and like the simplicity of the rules, I was thinking this was going to be a relatively lighter game, but there's actually some deeper strategy to it than I was expecting. It's very clean in terms of its gameplay and everything that you do on your turn, because basically on your turn you activate a card in your village or add a card to your village by then activating it, or resting, which is kind of refreshing everything. And you essentially use resources to fulfill achievements, go and visit various guardians that require offerings of either buildings, cards, resources, to gain scrolls, which are victory points at the end of the game. And then you just kind of rinse and repeat. The game does not necessarily overstay its welcome. I think there's definitely some instances where it feels like the game is kind of about to hit that threshold of, okay, it's going on a little bit long, but then it's over. It's a weird kind of balance where if you have your village maxed out and you have an engine going of, oh, I have multiple cards that give me so many resources that I could then spend to build buildings to max out my building track, and I could then use those to just kind of run a guardian gauntlet, then you're just kind of doing that over and over. But if you're doing that over and over, then that means the game's going to be over. So, I mean, the game says it's 45 minutes. I would actually say it's less. The game goes by pretty quick. It gives you plenty of ways to ramp a lot of resources to then spend them very quickly. Now, with that being said, I think this is a, like I said, adorable game. They do a really good job teaching you the game and the rules. I don't even know Grail Games. That's not familiar to me, and Philip Duberry is also not familiar to me. So I don't know if it's a first-time designer or what, but I do think that this game can suffer from multiple playthroughs, because while there are a ton of common folk cards, enough to, I don't think there's any duplicates in here. And the art is fantastic. It's adorable. It gives off, funny enough, it kind of gives off Nine Souls vibes, but that's just because they're animals, and it's like a kind of an Asian theme is what I'm kind of getting. There's a ton of common villagers that go into the market for you to get, but kind of the problem is that you're not really going out and getting them a lot. You're limited on your 3x3, and you technically start the game out with 5. You start with 1 from your deck, and your 4 starting cards, which are they recommend you just keep. You never replace them, just because they help you gain the actions that you need to be able to do anything in the game. But I feel like the 3x3 is kind of restrictive, because you get so many common villagers that come out, and then you're fine with that. I never felt reasons to go out and get more. And I feel like there's a kind of a weird disconnect, because you have the common villagers, but yeah, you also have a personal deck. And I almost would rather have it be one or the other, or a deck builder, like a deck builder / tableau builder. Because your deck acts as personal cards that you can add but yet the common villagers also do the same thing. Not that they do the same abilities, but if you play a card from your hand, it goes to your village. Or you can buy one of the 5 villagers that are out and add them. So I don't really see an incentive of having a personal deck other than offerings from either the Forest Spirits or the Guardians ask that you discard them. So it's kind of, well, you need to be able to draw cards because we have offerings that make you discard them. And if you can't, you go on an Omen track. And the Omen track is bad if you're going negative. So I'm not really sure how I feel. And the other thing I feel about the personal decks is that they're completely identical. So between all players, everyone has the same cards, which I would get if it was a deck builder, but it's not. You just buy them from the market and put them into your village. So I would almost rather you, again, deck build. And I'm not saying that this game, it should be a deck builder, because it's clearly not, but I just don't really understand why you have a personal deck that's virtually just 9 similar cards than what's not in the common. Almost I'd rather not have the deck at all and have your villagers, because some of the offerings from the Guardians, which are a big way of you getting resources, and scrolls, which are victory points, is I'd rather that be more punishing, that it makes you clear out your villagers, which some of them do. They say, hey, get rid of a face-up villager, and if you can't get rid of a face-up villager, then you have to lose an Omen. I think balancing the Omen track by either sacrificing villagers that you think is really good, choosing to take the Omen instead, or if you have used all your villagers, then you take Omen. I don't necessarily see a reason to actually have this deck of cards, except that there might be a strategy you're going for, and none of the face-up cards in the common villager market are going to be able to do that for you. But the thing about this game is that it's not so strategy heavy. It's a lighter game, maybe not gateway level, but maybe the next step up. So I don't know, it's a confusing design choice, because even then you have to have actions that you draw. It's not like at the start of your turn you draw up. It's, I'm going to flip my herder card that now lets me draw 2. And again, for the most part, you just have your hand of cards that are virtually just you, so you don't have to take Omen from the Guardian. You're not even looking at these. They're all good. They're all good cards. The Great Initiative gives you 2 bowls. It costs 4 barley, but you just have to spend 1 bowl to do the Venerate action, which is to go and visit a Guardian. The Farmer lets you spend a Juniper to build a farm. These are all good cards to have, but I would have much rather had to focus, have your starting small shrine or sanctuary that you're trying to entice regular folks, which are the common folks, in, and retain them while you're trying to gather scrolls by visiting the Guardians, or tempering the anger of the Forest Spirits. So I don't know, with a game that has so many unique villagers, all of these cards are unique, not being able to actually utilize them because your village is full and everything you're doing is working, feels kind of what's the word? Feels kind of anticlimactic. You just get to look at them and be like, oh, that'd be good, but I don't really need it because I don't know who I'd get rid of besides your starting ones. But at the end of the day, you just need them. They're a good crutch. I don't know. Like I said, this game feels like after multiple plays, you would just kind of see and do everything, because there's not enough Guardians. They're not so unique. And the design of them is actually kind of disappointing, because they just really have a title and that's it. It'd be cool if this was full art, but it's more of just it almost looks like it's 3 boxes. Oh, I have to get rid of 2 cards in the building, or take Omen, and all the opponents are cursed because they didn't get to go, and my reward is 3 3 coins, and a scroll. Oh, but this abominable snowman, I have to get rid of three resources and a building, and I get 2 gold, get to draw a card, and I get 2 scrolls. So I don't know. It's like this game is good. Like there's stuff here to do, and it's charming. The art is really nice, but again, I kind of feel that after you play it really just a few times, you're gonna be, well, that was that game. It doesn't wow me personally. Like, I was able to play and do enough, and you're engaged the entire time, and then the game is over, but I don't necessarily have like a desire to jump back in and try a different strategy, because there's not really a ton of strategies to do. You either visit the Guardians and visit the Guardians. That's pretty much it. That's more ways. I mean, there are different achievements that kind of are a race to do other stuff. Oh, be the first person to have no cards in your deck. Be the first person to fill out your villager thing, your village. Be the first person to do a meditation. And then you get scrolls for doing those. The meditation is also kind of there. You basically have these bells that it's kind of a bid, not even really a blind bid. It's not like, ooh, I have this many bells, how many am I going to put in? It's an open bid. You look at how many you could have. Oh, I have 5 bells on me, and my cards that are face up I could spend to give me 4 more. So I'm just going to go ahead and say 9. And let's say you're playing a 4-player game, I have 9. So, okay, can the person next to me, can they do more than 9? No, I get a scroll. Next person, can they do more than 9? No, I get another scroll. Can the third person do more than 9? Yes, they can do 10. They spend their 10, and then they get a scroll. And that's it. It's just an open bid. You can clearly see what people have. I mean, yeah, they have their cards and stuff, but it just feels like it's there. And it kind of sucks because I really like this theme, and the overall system in the game is solid, because on your turn you just flip a card in your village to do its actions. And I like that. I like tableau building, and I wish positioning mattered. Positioning only matters really for resting. When you rest, you have to have 3 face down cards in a row, which is either horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, and that's the only time you can rest. But then you just flip everything face up. And I also like the way you gather resources. Like, your starting ones only give you a resource if you have used them, if they're face down. But everything else that's face up has an icon on the top right, and if they're face up, they give you those resources. And I think that's neat. I haven't seen something like that done before. So choosing when to rest, who to keep face up, is decisions you have to make. But you can also it's pretty easy to get resources that you need. So you're never starved for resources. You have a bunch. Then you have these buildings that you can build, which are also easy to build. Some people, like the gardener, she just costs 5 barley, and her action is to just give you a farm. So you have all your buildings that you can also flip to either, if you have a shrine, it gives you a bowl. If you have a forge, it gives you a bell. And if you have the farmer, it gives you a barley. You can flip those to spend resources, but then you need another action to flip them all back. Well, one of your starting cards just lets you do that. So everything that could have been a double-edged sword of like, oh, do I want to spend all these buildings to get those resources, but then it's going to take me so long to get them back? No, not really. You can flip them all, and then flip your aristocrat, and then she just kind of flips them all back, and that's it. The tug and the back and forth of the omen track, where it's either going to be positive points or negative points depending on where it's at the end of the game. There's cards that can just swing it. You lose 3 omen, like lose by meaning gain, like it moves in the positive direction. That's great. So I'm going to go visit the Guardian, not spend any resources, take the Omen hit, and then just flip my Calm Priest, which is like a horse guy, to recoup that Omen loss. And so everything that's here feels like there should be some decision making behind it. And if you have ways to just gain any resource you want, really, then you can kind of always do everything. But I don't know. I never felt like this was a heavy competition. It is kind of a race because the game ends, roll for the galaxy style, where there's only a certain number of victory points in the pool, and once those are taken, that's when the game ends. So you kind of are trying to ramp the game when you feel like you might be the one to win. But if you have to gain more scrolls at the end of the game, then you just gain them from the supply. So it's not, oh, this was first one out, let's do final scoring. So I don't know. I guess I just want more meat to the game. Just because, and it feels like they also want more meat. Because in their rules, they give strategy tips. And they explain why you do certain things or what you should do. Hey, if you're going to use an action, make sure you can do all of it, because just flipping it that's not a wise way to play. But maybe it's just for a different audience, a different type of gamer. I'm not saying this game needs to be the most complex tableau builder ever, but I feel like that there could be more to it. And maybe they'll plan more expansions. It doesn't seem, the way the box came, it's a relatively small box, so I don't know if they would do more. I would like some individuality with like the decks. If you're going to keep the decks, which, I mean, obviously they're not going to make an expansion be like, remove the decks. But more Guardians would be cool, more Forest Spirits would be cool, more achievements. You don't need more common villagers because there's so many that barely get used. I don't know. Again, I'm not necessarily trying to say, ooh, here's what they need to do to fix the game. There's nothing really here to fix. Everything works perfectly fine. You're never starved for resources. You can kind of always draw cards from your hand. It's light. Even for a game that's icon heavy, everything is very easy to understand. It is kind of a rinse and repeat game. Once you get the villagers that you want in your village, you just do those. The 3, 4 that you want to do in a row, and then you rest. And then you do that again. And eventually you'll have the things you need to go deal with Guardians or the Forest Spirits or the achievements, and then the game's over. So, it sounds like I hate this game, and I don't. The game, it worked. It's charming. The art probably carries it a little bit more for me. I think that the art is really good, and it has a nice, peaceful aura about it. Again, that's probably its theme. I think the cover is gorgeous. That's probably what grabbed my attention in the first place. So, yeah, this is definitely for people. Like, there's an audience where people would enjoy this and play it a lot. I would say it's leaning towards like non-gamers, really. But I could be wrong. There could be a ton of people that are like, I play Twilight Imperium and Vital Lacerda games daily, and Snowcrest it's so much more in depth than you were giving it credit. And that's great. That's fantastic. But for me, I kind of want a little bit more. But even then, like I said, I don't think this is a bad game by any means. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving Snowcrest a 7. I think it's a good game. And I know a lot of people, they're like, 7? That means you hate it. No, 7 is good. This is a good game. I like I guess I have the deluxe version, but like the wooden tokens, the components for this are really nice. The cardboard buildings are thick cardboard. Those are nice. The little play mats are cloth, and the board is cloth, which is very nice. Everything in component-wise is really, really good. So yeah, maybe if they plan on supporting it a little bit more, I'll check it out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on Snowcrest. Let me know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.